Now, Cirque du Soleil, their first crisis was in 2013. This was nearly 30 years without a problem. Cirque du Soleil was the brainchild of Lalibert, and in the early 80s, he was a traveling busker and had the idea to change the face of circus. The idea was to make an extravagant and exciting show without the use of animals. Currently, here in 2017, they wow crowds across the world with their death-defying stunts and their mysterious storylines. With nearly 30 years without incident, it would be easy to see why complacency could happen. So, maybe they weren't practicing enough, or maybe they thought that they had it because they've been doing it so long and hadn't had any troubles. Now, any sort of aerial arts or acrobats involve rigging to a building. So rigging and the people that do the rigging must be certified and go through hours of training to refine their skills. Riggers should never become uncaring in their jobs. The idea of rigging is only known and thought about by the performers and the people that work for a circus or Cirque du Soleil. It can create a human bias because patrons and fans of Cirque may not think about this aspect of the show, and while they're looking at the performers, they may not realize the wires and the harnesses and the chains that hold up the apparatuses and the performers. This might create an illusion for patrons that could put the blame for incidents in the wrong place. So when Sarah died on June 29, 2013, she plummeted to her death during the final battle scene in the Cirque du Soleil show, Ka. The safety wire that was meant to protect her was severed, and she died because of it. After this happened, many audience members thought that it was part of the show, but soon realized it was not because they heard screams. When they ushered the audience out of the theater and they offered refunds, they realized that this wasn't on purpose, and Ka was going to be canceled until further notice. Having the audience members leave, offering refunds, was a way of damage control. And within a few days of the incident, the news articles and the social media messages started to appear. So the founder, Lalibert, made a statement one day after the incident. He said, "I am heartbroken. I wish to extend my sincerest sympathies to the family. We are all completely devastated with the news. Sarah was an artist with the original cast of Ka since 2006 and has been an integral part of our Cirque du Soleil family. We are reminded with great humility and respect how extraordinary our artists are each and every night. Our focus now is to support each other as a family." Now, while the performer did die, it was imperative for Lalibert to maintain his image and to keep his company in good reputation. Nobody wants to be known for unsafe or dangerous practices, and while acrobats do understand that their jobs are dangerous, it is up to the leaders to maintain the image that while what the acrobats do is dangerous, they are well trained and can avoid getting injured. Now the case. So using Goffman to analyze this particular communication crisis, we need to understand that Goffman uses information about the individual to define the situation, enabling others to know what is expected from them and what they may expect. After the death of the performer, Lalibert immediately set out to comment on the incident. He knew how horrific this was and wanted to maintain his and Cirque's image. Impressions are everything in communication. How you look, dress, act are all important factors on how someone perceives you. This is also important for companies. Even though many people don't think about it, Cirque du Soleil is a dangerous company to work for. These acrobats literally put their life on the line for others' entertainment. However, when something goes bad, how do they protect their image? Well, going through the workbook and figuring out how this would work, we come across impression management. When the founder of Cirque, Lalibert, addresses the public after the death of their performer, he wanted to communicate that his performers are like family. He cares for all of them and they care for each other like they're related. Lalibert was successful in carrying out this message because Cirque du Soleil still exists today and Cirque du Soleil is still very popular shows around the world. The way the death was handled was extremely professional. For example, they ushered out the audience, they offered refunds, and Ka was canceled till further notice. What they ended up doing was the performers worked on the final battle scene make it even safer than it was. They figured out ways to avoid any other accidents because that's just not okay. And they also said that if they did not have enough time to practice, then they would not be a candidate to be placed in that final battle scene. So for framing, he sent out this message through news articles and social media, and it was probably the best and the fastest way to get the message out, especially through social media, because people check that faster than the news. And the lens would be the same for the receiver. So if he was sending it through social media, the receiver was receiving it through social media, the lenses are the same. So Laliber also used Facebook to give his message. And that was a good platform for this particular moment because the fans of Cirque du Soleil could get the information quicker and understand what was going on and what they were doing to try to make it better for the future. Now we know that Laliber was making it better and he was using all of these skills. And so we have to understand that Cirque du Soleil is dangerous, but these actors, acrobats, performers, they try their best to be safe and know everything about their job. So as audience members, we need to also realize that this is dangerous and they're doing the best they can. Overall, I think Laliber did a good job saving face for his company, as Cirque du Soleil is still widely famous throughout the world. And we can use Goffman's theory to see how he did such a wonderful job. Even in spite of the death of the performer, he has made this a positive company where children, families, adults can enjoy a beautiful